Hey everyone, this is Peter, host of Cobra Kompanion. This interview is interview number 13 with Bo Mitchell, who plays Brucks. This is the last interview that we featured on TV at My Brain, and this is our interview.
What's up, guys? My name is Bo Mitchell, a.k.a. Brucks on Cobra Kai, and you're taking skinny dips and some bong rips with TV My Brain right now.
Welcome to TV Ate My Brain, the official TV podcast of Core Temp Arts, the Cobra Kai edition. And I am Peter, also host of Nostalgic.
And I'm Tom, also host of Jake and Tom Conquer the World.
And today we have another interview. This time we got Bo Mitchell, who plays Brucks from Cobra Kai. He was one of the bullies, the other bully next to Kyler, for those that maybe had not seen the show in some time. What an awesome guy to talk with.
Absolutely. I mean, the drive and sense of, like wanting to work is amazing. I mean, this kid had more passion for snow cones at 8 than I did
old.
with my factory job at the age of 30.
Yeah, it's crazy. This guy grew up at such a young age. He started, his own skateboarding business at like 15. Just a bunch of amazing things. I mean, he's probably, he's like 23. He just got married. So again, congrats to you, Bo, and just got a house with his wife too. So, he is coming at life at such a fast speed. It's mind-boggling.
Absolutely. I have a feeling he's going to be a mover and a shaker well before his 40s.
Yeah. He talked a little bit about this in the interview as well. He's produced a documentary. I think it had like 8 episodes according to IMDb. He's worked with Danny McBride. So yeah, he's done quite a bit.
Well, he's even got his own charity. That's amazing.
Right, yeah.
23 years old and he's founding a charity.
So just an amazing interview. We can't wait for you guys to hear it. And here it is. Hey, Bo?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Peter, man.
How's it going, Peter?
Hey, not too bad. Okay. Hey, Tom?
Hello.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and get started a little bit here. Now, I was just kind of looking over your IMDb page, and it shows that you got discovered at the age of 9 months. So you were doing like a bunch of print work early on?
Yeah, I did. It was very random. I was with my parents, we're walking around together, I guess, and I was just, a toddler. So an agent stumbled upon us in the mall and was just excited about, I guess, how I looked, and kind of thought it was a scam because that was a popular thing in that era. That was a scam at the time. People were posing. People still kind of do that, I think, pose as like agents and get you to pay a couple $1,000s. And I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, but that was a popular thing. So it was like sketchy a little bit because we were like, this is weird. Someone just came up on us about our baby, but it was legit. So they flew us out. She got me some work like super quick and flew us out to New York, and I started doing like print ads for lookbooks for baby apparel.
Well, that's actually kind of awesome.
Random. Yeah, it wasn't a scam, basically, is what I'm saying. But
yeah.
So it was a trip. Yeah, and that kind of kickstarted me.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that could be scary. I mean, anything involving a child and just a random stranger coming up and say, hey, your kid can do stuff. It's really weird. So
Yeah, definitely. So, but no, after they kind of like figured that out, I think they were like, whoa, this would be good for him, I guess. I don't know. They supported it and started taking me to auditions and taking time off work, etc. And we're here now.
So the print work and commercials that led you to working into TV and film at the age of 5?
Yes. Yeah, it started off really small, but it was technically TV and film, like one-liners that, ultimately half of the roles even got cut out, and just little stuff. And then took my first big role when I was like 11 or 12, and that's when my mom actually decided to quit work and like travel with me. But yeah, so it was like it's a very gradual ladder we climbed for the first 11 years or so.
Interesting. When did you get into skateboarding? If you're doing all of this print work and TV shows and stuff like that.
I kind of got into it around the age of 8 because I had some video games, Tony Hawk video games.
Yes.
And yeah, and so that contributed to a lot of people starting skating, honestly. But I got those games and I was like, this is so cool. And I wanted to pretend I was doing the tricks. So my parents got me like a Spider-Man skateboard from Walmart. And I went to the skate park in my local city, and it was kind of rinky-dinky, but it was a skate park. So I went there and would kind of ride the ramps a little bit, and just, I kind of basically played with it more than I did skate, but like I was familiar with the skateboard. And then when I got about 13 or 14, after I finished that first big role I got really serious because a couple of my buddies back home started doing it seriously. And so basically since 14-ish, 13-ish, I've really been, learning tricks and pursuing it as like a serious passion, hobby, sport, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah. And then by 15, you started the HIC skateboard company?
Yeah. So that was, it's funny. Yeah. So yeah, that was the city I live in. I'm from Aiken, South Carolina. That city is pretty tiny, man. That thing is, we have like a population, pretty small population, 80,000 or something, which is not big, but it's not that big. It's like everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of a vibe. And yeah, and so the city is nice, but they focus on like more traditional sports like, baseball, football. So skateboarding was definitely, kind of exiled a little bit. The cops had nothing to do, so they would mess with the skater kids, and the adults that ran the stores, the storefronts that had the cool sidewalks to skate, they would kick you out because you were, bothering them and pestering them or whatever. You could break your arm and sue them. So many excuses. And like I said, the skate park was rinky dink, and by this time, it was kind of starting to disintegrate pretty much. So it just needed to be kept up, and it wasn't being kept up because the city didn't care. So we had really nowhere to skate, in a sense, and nowhere to buy skateboards from. So I just I've had like an entrepreneurial spirit my whole life. So it kind of clicked, and I started doing a little skateboard store out of an office space, and I had a little ramp we'd put out front in the parking lot, and it started with that.
Yeah, got to commend you for starting at such a young age. Most people at the age of 15 don't have that drive. Did you ever watch Lords of Dogtown?
Yes, I did. I watched that when it came out in the theater. Actually, that was a good one.
Yeah,
I've watched it a couple times since. Yeah, that's a cool movie. It's a good like history lesson, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Your story kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I guess it does. I never looked at it like that. That's cool.
Well, I'm looking at your IMDb page right now, and apparently this wasn't your first successful business. I guess you had a really popular snow cone stand, or what was going on with that?
Yeah. So that started when I was around 8 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. And this is, all contributed to my parents just being like, down to jump out of a plane with me, pretty much. So they, basically at this point I had acquired, and saved up money from doing the small, print and commercial gigs. And I loved snow cones at that age, and it was a really weird infatuation. But it had to be the shaved ice. You guys ever had shaved ice?
Oh yeah. Over in Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah, so it had to be it had to be the real shaved ice snow cones. Like I was pretentious. I didn't like the crushed ice. I had to have the nice high quality shaved ice. So basically, I wanted to do like a lemonade, like a little kid lemonade stand. I was like, because that's what I can envision at that age, and so I was like, oh, I would like to do that. And then we had found on the internet that there was actual a way to do like your own shaved ice stand, And so then I was like, oh, it's even better. Like, I would love to have that. And so we actually bought a 10 by 10 hut, and started a snow cone business, and got some of the shaved ice machines, got coolers, got the whole nine, and set up and in Aiken, and started slinging snow cones, man. It was a trip, because I would do the whole hiring process, and I would be interviewing high school kids, and they would be losing their mind, like looking at me interviewing them. But it was a serious interview, though. Yeah, depending on what they said to the questions was whether or not if they got hired. But no, it was a good time. I traveled a lot with that too. Basically, designed this hut on wheels. So it was a small trailer, and we built a one of those 10 by 10 huts from the bottom up, from the ground up. So it was kind of like a food truck of today, but it was on a trailer, and it was pretty small. It was literally only 10 by 10. So it was it may be more like 8 by 10, but yeah, it was a small little trailer, but it was kind of like the aesthetic of a food truck, pretty much. And we just drove that thing around and went to a bunch of cool festivals and stuff. And yeah, so I did that for 3 or 4 years, probably.
Is that something you've ever thought about bringing back, whether it's a form of a food truck or anything?
Oh man, I haven't really thought too seriously about it. I kept some of the gear just to have in case I ever did want to spark it back up. But I don't know. Yeah, that would be fun, because I've actually kept up with the scene a little bit. And there's this company called Pelican. Y'all heard of them?
No.
They're supposed to be pretty big. They're coming up. Maybe it's just like a Southeast thing, but they're in like 6 or 7 states now. Anyway, it's a franchise. But yeah, I kept some gear. I'm waiting for the right time to strike. No, I'm kidding. But I kept some gear though. Maybe one day, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, it says that you had 100 flavors, which is impressive in and of itself, but I'm curious, after you get past cherry, grape, lemon, and all that, eventually you're going to start to kind of get into some odd categories. What was the wildest flavor that you had?
Yeah, y'all are really diving deep. I need to know this information from the internet. Yeah, let's see. We used to have them all listed in the front of the hut. And we'd be like, oh, there's the flavor list. People would be like, whoa, what? And I'm trying to think, because we had some funny ones. And I'm also trying to like kickstart my memory, because I haven't had to initially think about this in such a long time. First of all, we had like every flavor of fruit you could think of, even like weirder ones. Like we had like this one isn't too weird, but we did have a mango, we had a banana, we had a blue raspberry, red raspberry, grape, etc. Then after the fruits. So okay, so I think one of the weirdest ones we had was called fuzzy navel.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds nasty. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So fuzzy navel, for anyone that doesn't know, it's a hairy belly button, and or like a linty, dirty belly button. Anyway, so that was a flavor of a snow cone, and that one was like weird and sweet and tangy. There was no hair or lint in the snow cone. It was just syrup. But yeah, that one was a funny one. And then we had one called Tiger's Blood, which I believe stems from an alcoholic beverage, like an alcoholic mixed drink.
Yeah, so does Fuzzy Navel, actually. That's an alcoholic drink.
Oh, really? It does?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you know what? All those come from a list of alcoholic drink ripoffs, because we had like a pina colada and stuff. So we had all these alcoholic things. That was one thing my parents thought about getting into. They were like, what if we took this out to bars at like 2 a.m., Like I wouldn't be present apparently, but they were thinking about doing that a little bit at one point, because we could have those alcoholic one-off flavors, and we were thinking about a lot of fun stuff to do with the hut. But yeah, it was there was a couple weird name flavors, but those all stem from alcoholic drinks. So, and man, it's what another weird one was, and I'll end it with this one, is we had a sweet tea flavor.
Okay, interesting.
Sweet tea flavor, yeah. And so sweet tea is really popular in the southeast. So tea is popular everywhere, but sweet tea particularly, where you brew it, and while it's hot, you pour sugar in it, then you put it in the fridge and get it cold and drink it with ice. So it's like, that's what sweet tea is. And so you got this flavor after that, and that was pretty interesting. So yeah, but those are some weird ones. One out of the 100 that I can recall of, 10 years later.
Yeah.
Almost. So over 10 years later now, geez. Yeah.
What was your time like over on Eastbound and Down? You played Danny McBride's nephew Wayne.
Yeah, Wayne Powers. That was fun. I mean, that was crazy because I was hitting puberty and I was like looking up to male role models, and I was surrounded by a bunch of crazy male role models. And they were all great guys, though, great guys. But you see them on camera doing their thing, and yeah, it was interesting to me too, because I also felt like I was trying to grasp at like some sort of style of my own in acting as well, besides just life itself. And so I learned a lot from Danny, Will, David, Jody, Ben Best, and any of the amazing guest stars they had on, or reoccurring, players they had. Like, it was great. It was amazing for me as an actor too, because I got to like basically learn from these guys, like, learn the trade, especially of improv and comedy. So that's what I, like to pursue today. I love doing comedy, improv kind of stuff, and just back and forth banter, in scene. That's like my favorite as of now, just because of being around that, at that critical time, I guess, because spit. We did 4 seasons over like five-ish years or so. So I spent, I spent 12 to 18, ages 12 through 18 on that set. And I had like 4 birthdays on set. I had a birthday on set almost every season. So, because they just always filmed, during the fall. So, and my birthday's in November. So yeah, it was a trip, but it was a fun time, man. They were all super talented. So yeah, it was just a great learning experience for me.
Yeah, I'm glad that you were mentioning the improv, because watching that show, and I was a big fan of it, I always kind of wanted to see more outtakes, because I have a feeling that there's just reels and reels of other things that they just thought up on the spot.
Yeah, it was a lot of riffing and one-offs, and yeah, just full improv sessions. Like, the guys were just, it was crazy. They would spend 20 minutes going back and forth at times. Just because it was hilarious. They just didn't stop in character, standing in place, spending 10 or 15 minutes having a full-on improvised conversation in character. It was like astonishing, honestly. It was a herald. They're really good, man. It's crazy because they just fed off each other, and everyone was so talented. So yeah, it was mind-blowing. But and a lot of stuff got put in. I mean, so much of that ended up being improvised. One-liners. It's just constantly. I think everyone was thinking of stuff. You'd have the directors would be thinking of stuff and just being like, hey, try this one. They would have like a scratch book. 4 or 5 guys behind the camera would have a scratch book and just be writing up dumb stuff to say, and have Danny or whoever was in the scene do it. Me and some of the other smaller characters got like thrown out lines sometimes. It was almost to the point where it was just like entertainment for people on set. It wasn't even like, this would just be funny to do right now. Let's just say it. It was just a good time, man. They just had fun with it constantly. So yeah,
Awesome.
I enjoyed it though, man. Yeah, it was awesome. It was crazy. It's like a cult classic now. It's kind of insane.
Oh yeah,
like looking back and seeing, it's really evolved and like stayed relevant, and yeah, it's cool.
Now, before we get into some Cobra Kai talk, you were involved in another YouTube, formerly Red, now YouTube Premium project called Alexander IRL in real life. What was that about?
That was interesting. I had gotten basically like almost cold called for that. The they had wanted me just because I had been on Eastbound and Down, and because of I think some of my ties to the skate industry and stuff, and they wanted that in a character, and so anyway, so the director Asher was a really cool dude. He's a super funny guy, and so he had this like 18 dream list of like young social networking, social media, like celebrities in a sense. So everyone that got casted, had these huge followings on social media or YouTube or whatever, and very few of them even really had actual acting experience. It was very intriguing, and so when we got on set, they were all used to doing these like selfie videos. So some of them were tripped out by the camera, like the big camera gear and stuff. But it was a fun time. Everyone on there was actually really, really good and talented and funny. So it was a good experience overall. And I think that it did decent. But I also think that it might have just needed to be maybe advertised a little bit differently or something. But it was like interesting too, because I think they were shooting for it to be like a teeny bop comedy.
Mm-hmm.
We were constantly, while on set, like, is this gonna? We would shoot some scenes for it to be rated R, and then we would shoot some, PG scenes. We'd shoot it in PG as well. So we would shoot a lot, half and half, because they didn't know where they were taking it. By rated R, I just mean like, throwing out some, curse words or dirty jokes, So it was just interesting. They were having this little battle, I guess, trying to figure out what happened to take it. But it was cool. It kind of spawned this whole YouTube network thing that Asher guy is doing now. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but he basically had his own network as a YouTube channel.
Huh.
And it's pretty interesting. It's like a fun way to conceive a YouTube channel, because it's called a channel, and so you have a TV channel, and usually it's a network running a TV channel, and you have these different shows, right? Most people on YouTube just have themselves or one or two buddies, or they have a theme, But he actually made it the definition of like a channel, to me anyway, and he has a full-blown network where they have 10 or 12 different little skits they do every week. So anyway, it's funny, but yeah, that was a good time. That was my first time ever being involved with a YouTube Premium, YouTube Red,
Mm-hmm.
gig. And so I didn't quite know what was going on with that at the time, because I wasn't heavily involved in YouTube. So I just kind of knew that the premium stuff, from perks you could get as a consumer, but I didn't know, that they were actually producing their own original content. So it was a surprise to me, but it was a good time.
Now, one of the things that we really like about interviewing, cast members from the show is we always find out something that we never, probably would have found out if we had not done the research. But not too long ago, not only are you married, but you and your wife just got a house.
Yeah, it's very perceptive. That's a fresh one now, man. Yeah, we're still moving into this place technically. So yeah, we got married. Let's see, a little over a month ago now.
Oh wow! Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. So that's kind of fresh, and then did a little honeymoon, and we went out to Oregon and had the ceremony on the beach.
Wait, hold on.
Just,
I'm from Oregon.
Oh, no way. Yeah, that's sick.
Was there any particular reason that you came specifically here?
Well, we thought we liked everything there. We were like, oh, it seems like a great place, just, great environment. And then we also are thinking about moving to the Pacific Northwest, like a 5 or 10 year plan, moving out there. So there was a couple like, reasons there. And then we also wanted to do a type of a destination wedding as well, where we just had like some, because we weren't trying to have like a 300 people wedding, where everyone we knew showed up. Which is popular, especially down here in the South. you book out a church and you fill up the pews with whoever you can get an invite to. But anyway, we wanted just to have some family and friends. So so a couple reasons just kind of came together and made it happen in Oregon. One of the other big deciding factors was that we wanted to do a honeymoon where we drove the PCH from top to bottom, top to San Francisco. So basically started up in Port Angeles and went down to San Francisco on the 101/the 1. And anyway, so that was just some of the factors that contributed to us going there. But what actually happened was we got a beautiful lodge out in Oregon City, which is like a suburb of Portland.
Oh yeah, that's like 30 minutes for me.
Oh wow, there you go. Okay, so yeah, and then on the ceremony day, we busted all the the wedding party down to Cannon Beach, specifically Silver Point.
Yeah.
And it was really pretty. There's a lot of sea stacks, and it was good. We had good weather too. The fog cleared up, and yeah, man, it was sick. So we hung out and had a cool weekend. And then we hit the road and went up to Seattle, and then went around the tip of Washington and went down the coast. And yeah, then we got back here and moved into this place. So it's been a hectic last couple months because I've been on the road constantly because I drive everywhere. I don't fly unless it's short notice. That's not because I'm scared of anything. I just like having my car. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I've been driving like crazy, man. Just traveling. I put almost 20,000 miles on my car in 3 months or something, 3.5 months. So, yeah, it's been buck. Most people do 12 to 15,000 in a year. That's just drive back and forth to the job every day, So it's I've been getting there, boys. It's been buck, but it was fun. So yeah, it's been hectic, but we're getting settled in now. Yeah, I got hitched, fellas. I'm a married man.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's probably breaking news for a lot of people. So that is, again, congrats. And I'm glad you guys had a good time in the Pac West here. Annalisa is from kind of near the Seattle area. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, we hung out a good bit. So we spoke briefly about it, but we never got into too much detail on that subject. So you guys interviewed Annalisa already? Yeah. Did you guys interview with Joe too?
Yeah, Joe was actually our very first.
Yeah.
And Nicole as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
You're not to make it sound like we're patting ourselves on the back, but you are currently number 13.
13?
Yeah, 13.
Oh, right on. Y'all are killing it then.
Oh,
yeah,
we're trying to.
Yeah.
So
y'all gonna have a whole new season of cast members to call up here in a few months. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Well,
the idea that we're trying to float out there is within the new season coming out, having guests come back to review the individual episodes
with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, y'all should try to get in touch. Y'all could start a little talk show or something,
I think it would be great,
That would be awesome, yeah.
But I mean,
cool.
There's still some people that we would love to speak to that it's been very difficult getting a hold of. But it's
I'm sure some of the hype has kicked in, so I'm sure everyone's grabbing at some of the bigger players for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they've got to be just ungodly schedules right now.
Overwhelmed, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think that they've been. I think a few players haven't really stopped. I think there's been some writing sessions where I'm sure that Will and some of the others, and just have been probably in the writing sessions, talking stuff up. So they probably haven't stopped moving since the season wrapped, really. But I mean, it's next one. It's going to be good. They definitely got the John, Josh, and Hayden. Those three are like a trio.
The big three.
And yeah, man, they're good. They actually remind me of the style that the guys in Eastbound and Down had, where they would just all three kind of conglomerate and work together and collaborate and come up with these crazy, fun, creative ideas. So I think it's going to lead to some long-term success for that franchise and those three.
Well, I think this is a great transition into Cobra Kai. So how did you come across that? You play the character of Brucks. Now, is Brucks short for anything, or is that like a nickname of your character?
Well, first of all, I believe Brucks is an homage to. Oh wow, I just totally blanked. Um, okay, so it is. I'm going to describe him, and some of the fans would, original fans will know who I'm talking about. And I'm bummed that I just blanked on the fella's name. It might come back as I try to describe him, but he was an original Cobra Kai member in the first, movie.
Mm-hmm.
In the Karate Kid, yes. And he actually, his name starts with a B too. And his name was similar to Brucks. It was a weird, maybe nickname or something. And yeah, so he was in the background, always being energetically, intrinsically hyped on hurting or just danger or, just being, fighting or just being crazy, just a crazy guy. And he was, he's blonde headed.
Is it
and
Dutch?
he, Dutch, thank you. There you go.
Oh,
That was
okay.
it,
That's
Dutch.
awesome.
So,
Yeah.
yes, so it was their homage to Dutch. And, what I was going to refer to next, if that didn't click, was when he had the scene with Ralph in the locker room right before the tournament started. You guys remember that one where he
Gets up in his
tries to
face. Yeah.
gets up in his face, tries to get him to throw a couple punches. Yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of who they're paying homage to with the Brucks character. It kind of stemmed, a lot of my stuff stemmed from just that, just being, trying to be like overly into, having fun, but having a weird idea of fun, because basically that's what we wanted. We wanted Brucks to be constantly having fun in his own little world. And, that sometimes might be, hurting people, but it was a weird line to walk between wanting to actually just be mean, which is not what we were going for, and more just like thinking, oh, it would be funny to throw this backpack in the garbage can, that kind of stuff. And it was a really interesting, it's interesting explaining it now. Sounds kind of silly, but basically Brucks is a homage to Dutch, and that's kind of how he came about. I'm not 100% sure on exactly where the name came from, but I think it may be like a last name. If not, it's just a nickname. But yeah, a lot of people were tripping on it when we first started. They were like, Brooke. Everyone was saying Brooke. They thought it was like a typo in the script or something, but no, it's Brucks. But yeah, it was a good time playing that character because, like I said, they reminded me the trio of directors / writers, John, Josh, and Hayden reminded me so much of some of the guys in Eastbound and Down, and yeah, they just were just throwing out one-liners to me or throwing out ideas or even letting me go off on tangents, and so that just made it a fun time, and that just made it gave me and some of the other actors a chance to be really just creative and improvise and have a good time, and it makes it fun on set, and it makes it more heartfelt too, because when you add your own spin on it, it can come out a little more natural than if you have to say a line perfect like it was written. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it was cool.
Did you have an agent that found that role for you, or how did the audition process go about?
Yeah, so if I'm recalling correctly, they had maybe casted someone, and he wasn't quite working out. I guess maybe some chemistry reason would go well or something, and so they had a last minute reissue of the casting tape, and I think that they actually might have. I don't know if they stumbled upon me or if they sought me out, but I think it was more than just my agent saying, "Hey, we found this role that you match up with." It was more direct than that. So I sent a tape in, and less than 24 hours later, I basically got the role.
Wow.
So yeah, it was extremely quick turnaround, and that was like a Friday. So that Monday I had to be in Atlanta, which is easy for me because South Carolina is only like a 3 or so hour drive. Where I'm at in South Carolina is only
Yeah.
3 or so hour drive, so it wasn't that bad. First off, though, my agent made me think it was in California. I'm like, geez, okay, so I'm gonna have to like leave tonight and start
Yeah.
driving. I was getting crazy, y'all. I was like, all right, I can make it to here and then there, and then I'll be there by Monday. I'll be good. Then I was like, no, it's in Atlanta. It's in Atlanta. I was like, oh, thank God. Because I was at dinner and I was like, y'all, I might have to leave dinner right now.
Oh, jeez.
I might have to leave town the next 30 minutes if I'm trying to make it to set on Monday. So I was tripping a little bit, but yeah, it worked out. It was in Atlanta, so it was chill. But it was a quick turnaround, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so it was real quick, but they were stoked, and I was super hyped to be a part of this, because coming into it, I didn't quite know what it was going to entail, because I just couldn't. I wasn't conceiving really what the possibilities were and where this could go. I mean, I definitely loved Karate Kid, but first of all, seeing how well the fan base has responded and came out of the woodwork loving it has just been amazing. And then of course, when I got on set, stepping back, I didn't know what to expect out of the set as well, because the set, comparing it to the Alexander IRL movie that we did with YouTube Red / YouTube Premium, the set was nice, but it wasn't anything over the top. But this set this Cobra Kai, it was like big time, man, big time. They had all the bells and whistles, all the proper gear. They were running multiple cameras every day. There's just things like, things that, I look for, especially because I've been doing it for so long, to tell me, how much production value is really going into this. And, when I was stepped on set first day, I was like, wow, this is a little over my head. This is more than I expected. And, it got me really stoked, because I knew then it was like, this is going to be great. It's going to come out great. It's going to look great. The people behind it are working hard. So that was exciting too. Just, it fuels you a little bit, because you're like, all right, everyone's really putting in, so I got to go for it too,
Yeah. I think it's really funny that you kind of got Marty McFly. Somebody else was casted, the chemistry didn't work, and then you replaced them. That's the infamous story with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
He replaced Eric
Yeah.
Stoltz, and the movie is better for it. And so, yeah, I don't know who the other guy was, but I do enjoy your character, and you have great comedic timing, and you have some very funny lines and memorable moments as well. You kind of touched on the library scene a little bit earlier. There's something that I kind of picked up about your character, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it. But Joe's character, Kyler, kind of gets up in, I feel like it was Miguel's face, and there was something that he says, and then Brucks, he corrects him. He goes, whom? And so
Yeah.
I loved
thought,
that.
Yeah. So I thought it was cool, because I'm like, is Brucks book smart? Because this is different from what we see in a stereotypical bully.
Right. Yes. That was the directors, and the writers just throwing in like a fun note, a way to kind of break things up, but also give you basically give you the reaction that you guys just described, like, oh wait, what, kind of thing. I don't think there was a whole lot of thought gone into that point, but we might see more of it later on. But yeah, it's basically that Brucks actually is paying attention, and he's not as blank or crazy or dim-witted as he may seem when he's doing stuff. But yeah. And first of all, thanks for the compliments, by the way, too. I'm stoked that you guys dig the some of the moments I had with Brucks, and just the comedic timing. But yeah, I think that was just a fun way to break the air a little bit and change things up. But it was a good note, because it definitely, I like that type of a comedy where it's like totally just flips your vision in your head of like what you think something is, or kind of gives you this whole moment where you're like, wait a minute, did that person just say that? That was weird. So I really enjoyed throwing that line out there. But yeah, man, the object of the preposition. Kyler was not paying attention in English class.
No, he wasn't.
So Brooks just set it straight.
There was a story that I heard about that, again, I want to get your perspective on. We also had the opportunity to speak with Aaron Bradley Danger, who played Counselor Blatt. Now, she shared a deleted scene that you were also involved in with her, where your character throws a pizza at her, which I think that they had some sort of apparatus built, that would launch pepperonis at her and stuff. Could you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that and what it was like, from your perspective?
Yeah, I think that, I think that's a perfect, example of Hollywood stunts where you tell someone what you do for a living. It's like, well, yesterday I built a pepperoni shooter and shot pepperoni in someone's face. You're like, what? So, that's what those guys, the stunt team did that day. That was one of the big stunts for the day. So they were out there just, in their mad scientist lab cooking up a pepperoni shooter. And yeah, basically we did some stunt work and kind of shot pepperoni across the room with the pepperoni shooter and things like that. And, did some stuff, but I don't know if that the visual effects didn't land well enough for them to want to use it, or if they thought it just kind of took away from the scene. Because after seeing it, I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I hit her with pepperoni. Where's that pepperoni at? First time seeing it. But, actually, as I watched, I was like, you know what, the scene plays through really good without me hitting her in the face with pepperoni. So it wasn't necessary. So I think there was some reasons, probably multiple reasons they might have X'd that one out. But, yeah, it was basically Brucks at it again, just trying to have some fun, and his idea would be, throwing pepperoni around. So yeah, we had these really cute little slices of pepperoni pizza that was supposed to be school lunch, and yeah, it started off with me just kind of throwing them at her as the wide shot, and then later on in the day we actually did the stunt shot where they got the visual effects team out there and tried to hit it on the mark. But yeah, it was a fun scene. Basically just got to act like an idiot the whole time. And I don't even think there's any lines, especially from Brucks, which is, I like that a lot too. When it's all just activity. There's no, you don't have to say anything to be funny. It could be like physical comedy, I guess you would call it, in a sense. Just doing funny movements or falling over, or, throwing pepperoni in someone's face. So I appreciate doing that as well. It was a good time. But yeah, that was one of the deleted scenes. And I'm sure I wish, they should do a little like one-off extras video of some deleted scenes.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
great.
I was actually going to ask what you would love to see as far as like a supplemental feature if they ever release this on Blu-ray. Because so far we've got nothing.
Yeah, no, there's not really much behind the scenes. There's not, any deleted scenes or B-roll. It's interesting. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of times where they went into some improv, back and forth banter, and so I would love to see some of that from a lot of the characters. They let a lot of the characters go in, like even, me and Kyler and some of the smaller bully characters. They would let us, for a take or two, just be like, yeah, do whatever you want. It's like, okay, So, and we got some funny stuff out of it. But, that's what I was talking about earlier when, it's just for fun. That's never going to make it to the cutting board, but, you do it, and, you're in character and you're having fun, so you do it anyway. So that's kind of what I was talking about. We would have some takes where it's like, just go for it. What's your wildest, thing for the scene or funniest thing? And we would do it and had fun. It was cool. So, I mean, some of that, even from like, I know William is great, by the way. I had never, and this may be poor of me, but I had never really seen anything besides Karate Kid, any of William's stuff besides Karate Kid. And, I'm sorry, about that, Will, if you're listening to this right now. But, if he came in swinging, man, he was great. He was amazing. So I would love to see some more of his stuff that got cut, because I wasn't on set every day that he was, and I'm sure he definitely went off a couple times. So I would love to see some of that. But yeah, anything improv behind the scenes is cool, man. You just you just get to, you feel like you know the characters after you watch some of that stuff. It's fun. So they just need to do that in general. Let's start with that. Then we can come back to this question and be like, oh man, I wish I would have got that.
The first time we see your character is at the convenience store in the first episode. What was it like fighting with Billy Zabka?
Yeah, that was crazy. Because at first coming into it, I had a bit of a similar mindset as my actual character. I was like, okay, this old fella's gonna try to whip her ass, and I was like, all right, haha, Karate Kid, sweep the leg, Johnny. That's kind of what I knew. And then he was and so I was just expecting it to be a lot of stunt double, basically is what I'm getting at. And I was expecting to be that for everybody, but when Hero came in and started, coordinating, and he was like, I kind of got into it. I was like, this is fun. Like, let me do everything. Like, I want to do all of this, because they're going back to skating. Like, I'm used to falling. I'm used to, kind of like being an adrenaline junkie. So I kind of was getting hyped, and having fun and just moving on set like that. Never done any big stunt coordinating like that before. Never done any big fight scenes. So it was exciting and thrilling. So after, the first take or two, I was like, man, let me do everything. Like, I can do everything you let me do. I want to do it. And so I realized that, William was the same way. And I don't think he had any, maybe one or two, like, very rare seconds where he had an actual stunt double step in. I think that's because he was, taking or throwing or flipping, himself, his character was. So they wanted to make sure that was on point, of course. But no, man, he was like, at one point he was practicing the choreography, and he hit that, sweep the leg move, man, did a little like low spinning round kick. And I was like, damn, you are flexible, boy. you are up in age and you can still hit that. Like, props to you, because he just busted it out like that was his, everyday kind of thing. I was like, damn, I couldn't do that. And, I'm 23, so good for you. So, it was very surprising. So I feel like I had a similar realization and revelation as my character Brucks did after, working that scene out with William. So it kind of really put me in my place, but it was great. I can say I got my legs swept by Johnny.
Not many can say that.
So, he took a kick from William Zabka, but it was a fun scene. All the fight stuff was so fun, and Hiro is amazing. He's Emmy nominated.
Emmy nominated.
For it.
Shout out to Hiro
yes,
Koda.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was a good time, man. Yeah, that was an interesting first scene too, because that was really like my first actual, my second scene on set. The first scene we did was
was it the pool scene?
No, it was the cafeteria scene, and I want to say it was the one where we were, we first kind of, it was after the beat up. It was after the beat up where Kyler is, or maybe before. I'm trying to recall everything. It was where Zolo comes in, and he's trying to say what's up to Mary's character, and me and Kyler kind of bombard the cool girl table, and mess up his chances. And Kyler waves at him, and is like a little smirky asshole. So that's the first scene I shot. Cobra Kai was that scene. And, then that was the second one. So it was really getting thrown into the fryer there. Second scene was, full-on fight scene. But it was good, man. I digged it. It was a fun time.
Oh, interesting. So this is the one where we meet. This is where Sholo meets, like, Gianni and Jacob during lunch?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first shot. Okay. Wow, that was, like, second episode, too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were bouncing a little bit. I think that maybe that might have had to do a little something with timing and maybe my character being changed at the last minute.
Oh, that could be. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And that just shows, like, after all these changes, characters were given more roles as, shooting progressed. it's amazing how the show turned out. It sounded like, there was a lot of last minute changes, I guess, during filming, and it still worked out great.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm thankful because one of my characters was one of those. I was supposed to be a guest star. I was supposed to be, a two episode thing. I think I was supposed to be done with, not long after that first fight scene, and a couple other bully characters were kind of too. But some of the guys saw, I guess, some potential in us, some potential in the characters, and they digged it and went with it. And just started. They kept us in the loop, and we just, kept having a good time together. I don't know, it was great. So it turned out really good. I'm stoked.
So you got to do that scene with Billy. Tell me about the pool scene where you got to work with Ralph as well.
Yeah, that was cool. We actually met Ralph that night when we did the fight scene with Billy, because he was there. He was doing the last shot of the night, and I think that was where we time skip a little bit, but I think what they ended up shooting was when, Ralph comes in and finds that there's a Cobra Kai dojo has reopened and tries to deter Billy or Johnny from, actually doing it, and they have a little face-off, it gets all serious. So I think they were shooting that night. So I met him there that night, and he was great. So cool guy, fun, chill demeanor. And so then, we did the scene at the pool, and it was a pretty fun time. He was, they kept a straight face and didn't bust out laughing, which is totally casual. I'm really bad at that, actually. I laugh all the time. So I've ruined so many takes because I'm just I just start grinning, laughing, just because it's funny, man. Yeah, they were nailing it. They were in character and didn't bust out laughing or anything. And yeah, so I mean, I think too it was a big surprise because that was one thing that I liked as well, because they were good at, John, Josh, and Hayden were good at keeping some small irritations, small things discreet for the first shot. Letting it's okay, we're gonna not tell them that he's going to come out the bathroom looking like this. You might expect him to be in swimming trunks, but not looking fully drenched, like you just climbed up the toilet, wet, crazy. So, I think that was a good first couple scenes because they were what the fuck? Excuse my language, but they were definitely had a little face on them, wasn't ready for it. But yeah, that was a good time. And that was one of the times too where they kind of just told me, to just kind of, have fun with it, whatever, go for it. So, just, you can make up some stuff or, have a fun time, talk smack, whatever. So it was cool. A lot of the one-liners from Brucks, including that one, were just off rip improv, on my end. So.
Oh, nice.
I was wondering that, how many, other things did you come up with before you finally settled on, skinny dips and bong rips?
Yeah, that was the one hit wonder, man. I threw that one out there and they liked it. So that one stayed. That was my first that was the first take too, actually. They were just
really?
So I think I threw out one other one, but that one stayed. So yeah, that one stuck first try, so they were stoked on it. But yeah, that was I was loving it too, because usually it's not, people are more apprehensive to let you improv. But like I said, they were just so encouraging that it made it easier to do it, because you didn't have to worry about, pissing someone off because you ruined their take, which is the thing. That's the thing, you gotta choose when and where, because you don't want to ruin someone else's take and make people mad and have a problem. So everyone was so cool about it that it lifts this weight off of you where you're, have no discretions, and you're kind of just, you're freer to do your thing. So yeah, I was stoked that they were so supportive of me, improving and coming up with stuff.
Yeah.
What was it like shooting the Halloween dance? And did you get to choose your own costume? I think you were a pirate.
Yeah, no, they kind of threw us in there as pirates. Did Joe tell you about sneaking on the set of Pirates of the Caribbean?
Real, I almost looked like Captain Hook's crew.
Yeah.
from the
We
old
kind of
Peter Pan
like a
cartoon.
Captain Hook's crew vibe. Yeah, especially me. I looked like the old like.
You reminded me of Bob Hoskins' character in Hook.
Smee?
Yeah. Okay. There you
Yes.
go. Yeah, that's it. It's me. Yeah, that's it. Yes. I think that was the costume they got me. I think that's kind of like how I turned out with that little pinstripe outfit. But anyway, yeah, that was a funny time. We didn't choose what we were. They threw that one on us, but it was fun, And that was another time too where they just let us go. We had this like moment where they were filming us, kind of talking amongst ourselves, the cool kid group, bully group, whatever. And they were just like, yeah, y'all just talk smack. So the whole time I was just like trying to think up like perverted pirate one-offs. Just like, yeah, like let me get in your booty, arg. Just dumb stuff. But they were digging it. It was funny. We had a good time. But yeah, I mean, and I don't even know if much of that made it in there. But we spent like a good 30, 40 minutes just coming up with one-offs, like little improv rips. But yeah, it was a fun time shooting that scene. And then we got into the choreographed fight towards the end where we were all beaten up on Solo in his Cobra Kai kickdown skeleton costume. Yeah, poor fella. We really dug into him that time. So, but it was I loved the references those fellas made. They were on point. Just so much like nostalgia and just like references to an homage to the original series, and some stuff that like, cause I've seen Karate Kid, the original, and I love it. I've seen a bunch, and I would catch a lot of stuff, but then I went to a premiere that Fathom Events did where they threw on the first 2 episodes of Cobra Kai, which are the free episodes that you can watch without the premium account, and then they threw on the original Karate Kid. And as I watched, I like caught even more stuff, littler stuff. Where I'm like, wow, they were really paying attention to detail. It's almost one of those things where it's like, if you watch the original movie and then, binge watch the first season in a day or two afterwards, and you're going to like catch a lot of little stuff where you're just like, wow, good job for remembering all that, and writing that into like a new series. But so, yeah. And, a bigger hint of that, of course, is the skeleton costume, which I love that they were throwing in stuff like that. And, kind of rewriting history in a way, like, especially when you had the scene with Billy, Johnny's character, talking about his view of Daniel Russo and how he thought everything shook down. That was a really, really funny, like, in amazingly well written, like, scenario flip.
Yeah, kind of to touch on what you're saying about their attention to detail. For anyone that has not yet listened to the Erin Bradley Danger interview, her character of Counselor Blatt, she reveals the backstory and who her character is related to from the original Karate Kid. So that's a little tease for those that haven't listened to it yet, and hopefully you guys go check that out to find out.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Bo, what would you like to see with your character of Brucks in season 2? I don't know if you've heard anything yet. I know everyone's kind of keeping everything under wraps. John Hurwitz has said on Twitter that they're writing season 2 right now. So if you had a choice, what would you like to see happen with Brucks?
Yeah, man. So, we talked a little bit about this, while shooting. And, they're just saying, that basically this new generation is limitless in a sense, with the 2 dojos popping up and, so they could go either way, they could go, left or right. They can go to Miyagi-Do or Cobra Kai, and they could, we had come up with these reasonings for them to go to either. So it's really up in the air, but I definitely foresee, some of these bully cool kid characters joining a dojo out of their own, their own choices, their own different reasonings. We were thinking Brucks might go to Cobra Kai because he thinks that it looks like those guys are having fun. Because, they kind of become the original Cobra Kai jocks, and towards the end there, they really get, like, crazy. It's a full character development, there, like, especially like you see Hawk, Hawk's character come into play, it's like, Brucks might see that kind of stuff and think, oh, that's fun. Like, I want to go be a part of that. So, we just started thinking up some things like that. And so there's no telling, basically. But definitely for seeing some of these, bullies, cool kid characters, supporting roles that, me, Anna, Joe, and Hannah had come back in some unique ways and, play a part of one of the dojos. I foresee that happening for sure. So, yeah, but there's nothing set yet. Like you said, they are writing. And, I know that some people are getting I think some people are getting some phone calls, some of the more, like regulars, and, main roles, but yeah, it's gearing up. It's happening. I think that, shooting's going to start in the next 2 months or so, month and a half, 2 months maybe. So yeah, we'll, probably get a new season out is about the same time the first one came out. So yeah, maybe a little earlier, but spring 2019, that's when it's happening.
There we go. And what can listeners expect to see? Do you have any projects in the works right now that, people can check out while they're waiting for that next Cobra Kai fix?
Yeah, I see that you're actually producing your own skateboarding show. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, Narcats?
Yeah, it's like, Narcats. There you go, man. Narcats, you guys can check that one out. That one's currently changing hands it was previously on Go90, but I believe if you Google it, it's on a new player now. I'm not sure what that's called, but you Google Narcats, you can find some fun stuff from there. Y'all can keep up, for anyone out there who wants to keep up with me, check me out on Instagram. You can just search my name, Bo Mitchell. My Instagram handle is a mouthful, so I'm not going to blurt that one out, but
it'll be in the show notes.
You'll see. Yeah, there you go. You'll see my baby picture, and follow me and check me out on there. And I'm basically right now working on producing a few shows to hope to have on air in spring, next spring as well. So, and on top of that, just get ready for Cobra Kai season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Awesome.
8, 9, 10.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's coming. Yeah, you're gonna hit a wave here, so it's gonna be Cobra Kai for a while, man. So one last thing I guess I could say is, if you want to check out my skateboarding alternate identity here, you could look up my nonprofit I started to help kids get into skating and give them a free, safe place to skate called Home for Skateboarding. And that's you can look that up, .org, homeforskateboarding.org, or you can check it out on Instagram. And we have a full-blown nonprofit that I founded, 501c3 state-registered charity, and we're looking for donations right now to build a public, safe haven skate park for kids to come and ride in South Carolina. So we have currently only 2 public parks in the whole state, and those are outdoor. We have 0 indoor parks. And so that is astonishing because even out in Oregon, I know that you said you're from there, you guys have, 2 or 3 skate parks in, one city.
I was going to say, even in Michigan, I've got one in a very small town about 5 miles away from where I live.
Yeah, so, that's astonishing that South Carolina is so in support of skateboarding. So, we're also working to change that. If you just want to be a part of the people that are working to change it, that's us as well. But along with some other core heads and shops. But check us out, man. Yeah, we're trying to help kids stay focused and stay, having good hobbies, getting some good hobbies, and not get caught up in some tomfoolery that, adolescence can bring you. So that's the other thing. And yeah, that's about it.
And that concludes our conversation with Bo Mitchell. So I want to thank him again for coming onto the show. He was just a fun person to talk to. He's offered to take us out if we ever make it to Charleston or anything like that.
We might have to take him up on that.
A little far for me, but hey, if somebody wants to pay for my ticket, by all means, I will definitely go and visit Charleston. I've never been that, well, I mean, I've been to Georgia. Maybe I should go back to Georgia and snoop around the shooting location.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
that might be the end goal of this podcast.
Is to be on the show. You know, I'll tell you guys what. We will end the show if Tom and I ever make it onto Cobra Kai. I think that would be it. That's the end.
Yeah, I think we would have peaked at that point.
Yeah, I mean, what else do we do now? So, thank you guys for always supporting us. Just a bit of breaking news on our end, for those that maybe subscribe to TV Ate My Brain. So, the good news is if you are subscribed, you're going to continue getting great reviews of the Cobra Kai show from us and interviews as well. But are you a hardcore fan? Are you a hardcore Cobra Kai fan that want more bonus content? We're starting up a new feed, Cobra Kai Kompanion. It's something coming that we wanted specifically for those people that want the extra stuff. So we'll be sharing the reviews and the interviews in there as well. So it's just a one-stop shop for everything that we create. But if you're fine with just the reviews and the interviews, continue subscribing to TV Ate My Brain.
Yes, and also, just so you're aware, when you type the name into a search engine, whether it's iTunes or any other feeds, Kompanion is going to be spelled with a K, because It's more badass that way.
It is, and it is a play on, you know, we want to sound smart here, but it's a play on the line from Karate Kid 1, Allie with an I, Daniel with an L. So we're Cobra Kai, Kompanion with a K. So there we go.
Exactly.
If you follow us on any of the social medias, whether it's Instagram or Twitter, those are going to remain the same. Just because you guys already follow it, I don't want any confusion. And obviously for the new listeners, we've already pimped it out as that. So we just want to keep that the same. So Cobra Kai Kompanion with the K. Join our Facebook group page. It's amazing. It's active. 5 Cobra Kai moms. We got, you know, some background people in there. We have a cast member. And as of this recording, Gianni DiCenzo, you know, recorded a little hello video to the group. You know, I asked him for a little favor and he came through. So you got to join the group to see that. Otherwise, you only seen screenshots on the other social medias.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but we're getting pretty interesting behind the scenes pictures and footage of all of this stuff.
Absolutely. We got people also, content creators, you know, fan art, fan fiction. There's a lot of creative people in there. But yes, to the moms and people that have been involved on the show, they have been sharing some great, personal behind the scene pictures as well. So we have now closed the group because of that. We want to protect everyone's privacy and their content so that way people aren't stealing it and putting it elsewhere as their own. Because we've been seeing that. I've been a victim of that myself, unfortunately. So the group page, just search www.CobraKai.TV group. You spell out the words period, and you can find us on Twitter at Cobra Kai Pod or Instagram at Cobra Kai Podcast. And Tom, what about you if they want to talk to you about anything other than Cobra Kai?
Well, you can reach out to me on Twitter at The Drunken Dork. You can also find me on Facebook with the page for my show. It's called Jake and Tom Conquer the Group. And you can listen to me every week with my co-host Jake on our show, Jake and Tom Conquer the World.
And for me, you can find me at Podstalgic on Instagram and Twitter, where I review movies. Most of them are throwback movies. Tom joined me a little over a year ago. We did all 4 Karate Kid movies. And again, at the time of this recording, the biggest movie in the theater right now is Crazy Rich Asians, which I reviewed. I am a crazy Asian, not rich, but if you type in that movie title, I am currently the 3rd top episode right now for that movie. So if you've seen that movie and want to hear my thoughts on it, it's on Podstalgic. So again, thanks everybody for your guys' continued support while you guys are tuning into us for your Cobra Kai fix. That's all we got for now. Expect more interviews as long as people are saying yes. So there might be a little bit of a lull because of, you know, we've kind of asked just about everybody at this point. But again, we're going to continue creating bonus content, whether it's reactions to John Hurwitz's Twitter Q&As and stuff. That's going to be another one coming soon. But we're also looking to do like movie reviews that Cobra Kai cast members have been in. Again, all of that stuff will be on Cobra Kai Kompanion. So just follow us on the social medias to stay updated, or join the group, because that's going to be the best place for all of our updates. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time.